Hey there, this is a video for a specific customer who'd sent me his kilt to be altered, and I've done so. I'm just about to wrap it up, and it's going to go out in tomorrow's post with the Priority Courier. Now, again, I was asked to let it out to fit and also adjust the length a little bit. So I want to show you what I've done. I'm not going to tear into the person that made the kilt because there's some wonderful work here, and there's some other stuff too, but that's we're not going to worry about that. The apron, however, the apron was laid out a bit off center, so I had to adjust it to center the white stripe because otherwise it was just going to look odd. And to that end, unfortunately, because this appears to be it's either an old kilt or one that's been dry cleaned far too often, and frankly, you shouldn't dry clean your kilt, period, stop, end off. So what you're going to see is there's a slight trace where the right edge of the apron used to be. I've pressed to that 3 times. I've used all my skill, but it hasn't yet disappeared. We're hoping that it'll fade out with time, but you're going to see it. I did my best. I can't help it. It's not going away just yet. I also had to relocate the buttonhole. The old buttonhole had been here, but we needed to shorten your kilt a little bit. Not enough by taking the top off, lowering or taking material off the top, but just by lowering the strap and buckle, which had the net effect of raising your kilt slightly. But this was kind of a mess inside, and I can't blame the person who made the kilt for that, because it appears that I'm the only one who looks ahead 30 or 40 or 50 years over the life of the kilt for future alterations. So this was unalterable. So I sewed it shut. I left the bar tacks in because, frankly, the way they're sewn, I couldn't get them out without destroying the cloth, or at least damaging the cloth. So I've moved the buttonhole one over, and that, because I could restore that, put in good heavy bar tacks. The tabs that the buckles, really good buckles, excellent buckles, but the tabs that had mounted the buckles were kind of a joke, because even before they were moved, there wasn't a very good match. They were a bit shabby, so I've replaced them with a couple of deep blue ones. They're not a perfect match, but they're a good complement, I believe. When in the future you decide that because as your figure ages, when you decide that it's time for another alteration, we can address this, because this person, the pleats aren't all the same width. We start wide, and then I think they got to the point and went, oh my God, and they started tightening them up on this side. It doesn't affect the appearance of the kilt, but in future, when you want to do it, we can pull this apart and re-sew it so that they're uniform from side to side. Now, because we've let it out, the tartan top band isn't long enough, so I don't have a perfect match for this tartan. So I just used a piece of dark green woolen tape. And this is on the inside. It's going to be covered by the outside apron when you're wearing it, so it's not going to be visible. On the inside, well, first off, the strap's perfectly serviceable, so I didn't change them out. Now, the lining, the original lining, I could have used it, but it's the lining again. The lining is to an extent sacrificial, and this cloth is a little bit, well, ripe. It's a bit rotten, and it would be false economy to put it back in, because it's going to tear. It's going to fail soon. So I've put in a cotton flannel lining, and you'll find that I think it'll be cooler when you're wearing it, and also because of the texture and because it's a little bit baggy there, your shirt's going to stay tucked in much better. Now, you're going to find odd bits of thread. I did my best to get rid of all of them, but for whatever reason, and I see this on some older kilts, that the outside was beautifully done with properly matched silk thread. And I just noticed a seam there that I'm going to have to, I just noticed that has to come. I'm going to sew that down before I set it up. But beautifully done, wonderful workmanship with silk thread. But on the inside, they used carpet thread, this really, really heavy thread. It's stronger than the cloth. And the problem there is that there are a couple of spots, you can't see them because I've covered them up, but there are a couple of spots where, okay, there's one there, but there's a couple of spots where there is damage to the fabric because these threads were stronger than the fabric, and they caused some damage. So there we go. So I'm going to wrap this. Well, I'm going to repair that one pleat that I missed to just this moment. So I'm going to resew that one pleat, but I'm going to pack it up tonight, and it'll be shipped and on its way to you tomorrow. So I wish you many, many happy. Well, I wish you all the best for your wedding, which you're going to be wearing this in a week or so. But also, I wish you many happy years of use and enjoyment of your recently refurbished kilt. Cheers.